the more things change, the more they remain the same, right? So when you look at what kinds of projects people do when they do digital transformation, they typically end up in 3 or 4 categories, right? You're either doing a major enterprise application, ERP upgrade, or you're deploying new SaaS applications, or you're undertaking automation initiatives, or you're doing business process modernization, right? So those are the categories. You're finding some way to improve your business and modernize your business using either process focused efforts or technology or automation focused efforts, right? So those are the common patterns of how people approach digital transformation. So the main reason I have noticed that when these projects don't go well are 3, right? So the first one is people don't fully understand how they do business today, right? So they don't have a good idea or visibility into their business processes. And what this does is that this makes them focus on the wrong things, or when you're doing automation, automate the wrong things, right? So unless you have visibility into how your business functions today, you are typically going to end up optimizing the wrong things, and therefore you'll be disappointed in the end, right? So that's one part. The other part is, say you do a digital transformation project or do it in stages. How do you know that you have succeeded, right? So is there a way to measure the results of your efforts and then compare them to how business was being done before? This is important because if you can't demonstrate clear value when you do something, when you spend money, then you're not going to get more money for doing additional transformations, right? So this measuring the return on investment, understanding how well something has worked or hasn't worked, is very important to continue the efforts, right? Because digital transformation is not a one-time project. It's an ongoing project in multiple phases that continues as time goes by. The last part, right, which for me is the most important part, people take on very large projects for, let's say, dubious reasons, right? They don't know why exactly they're doing something. It may be because the ERP vendor says, hey, you got to upgrade to my latest application, latest version of my application, or somebody is able to sell you on a SaaS application or solution, or somebody else is able to sell you on, hey, just buy automation software and I'll solve all your problems, right? So these projects end up as looking at solutions, looking for problems, rather than a problem looking for a solution, right? So it's very important to understand why you're doing digital transformation and not being led by a piece of technology that then serves as an impetus to drive that digital transformation. Okay, so those are the 3 areas that over my last couple of decades I think are important to consider. And so because of this, right, this whole emerging field of digital twins or digital twin of an organization is becoming so important, right? So what a DTO is it's a dynamic virtual representation of an entire organization that includes processes, people, assets, systems, data. So what you're doing is you're building a digital model of your business, and then you're trying to understand what levers you can pull to improve things, right? And then the model is something that needs to be accurate, and a model is something that needs to evolve, right? So that's what you're doing when you actually are building out a digital twin of your organization. Of course, there's a lot of interest in this topic, and per Gartner, this market is going to actually reach $183 billion in revenue by 2031, which means that all of us are going to actually hear more about it, are going to have to deal with it, and therefore getting ahead of it and understanding what DTOs are and how you implement them will benefit us as we go along to the next phase of our transformation. Okay. All right. So how would you think about building a digital model, right? A digital twin? And we believe there are three parts to it, right? So the first part is understanding how your processes run today, right?